Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have a nice game to share with you from round 1 of the 2023 FIDE World Cup. On the white end, 14-year-old international master from Turkey, Ediz Gurel, the youngest participant of the event, and he's playing against Grandmaster from Serbia, Velimir Ivic. Okay, opening-wise, we have a Ruy Lopez, and to be a bit more exact, we enter the open Ruy. The knight takes e4. It opens further, more tension in the position. Bishop e7, some pressure on the knight. This threat, for the moment, is ignored. Black counterattacks the bishop. Bishop b3. Now, black does something about the knight. And now, white regains the pawn and threatens a pawn. d5 is hit twice. Convenient defense. More development for black. And once this square is secure, this pawn is secure, right around the corner for black is knight c5, tracking the bishop. This is where we have c3, 2 notes. A square is produced. In the event of knight c5, this is an option. And white also strengthens his control over d4. Okay, from here castles. White challenges the best piece, the most invasive piece, and black ducks that exchange. He's going after the light square bishop and also saying you have to work now a little bit harder to complete queenside development. This guy, after all, is now blocked in by the knight. Okay, couple approaches here for white. The move played in the game is knight to d4. What's the other main move? It's to duck this exchange, to play to c2. If bishop c2 is played, the best move far and away for black, the move that will highlight his better developed side, is d4. Welcoming pawn exchanges when you're the better developed side is a good approach. Black gets that. With d4 in this position. So, in a way, we can say with knight to d4, white is saying, let's not allow this position to open up so quickly. I still need to play catch-up with my development. Okay, from here, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight. And I'd like to throw this position to you as a pop quiz. Which bishop would you go after in this position as black? You could, of course, take this guy right now, or in 2 moves, you could by force track the dark square bishop. So, which one would you go after? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, in the game, black goes after the dark square bishop. Black is going after the bad bishop. So this is going to seem counterintuitive. This is the bad bishop. Judging by the central structure, pawns on dark, fixed. Why is it that black prefers to go after the dark square bishop rather than the light square bishop? I believe a big part of the reasoning here is because if you take the light square bishop, you're allowing white to take advantage of the weakest square in your camp. The weakest square in black's camp is c5, and you could be sure this knight will be pouncing on that square soon enough. It could be supported by a queen. So it has to do with the c5 square. This is a reason for black to go after the dark square bishop rather than the light square bishop. It is not so easy for this guy to get to that c5 square from this position. Okay, from here we have a5. White doubles on the c-file, a4, no other move there, bishop c2 it is, a3, b takes a3. I should note something about this position. One of the interviews after the game, Ediz Gurel, in the interview, he said that he was prepared up until this point in the game. So it's basically just the remainder of this game where he was on his own something was a bit off in his eyes after Black's reply. The move played in the game is bishop takes a3. So the rook is attacked, and it ends up going to b1. Now, what is considered a bit better than bishop takes a3 is to take with the rook. So I was wondering about some of the differences here between rook takes a3 and bishop takes a3. Bishop takes a3, we might say, is more attacking, more of an offensive move, right? You are generating a threat. Rook takes on a3 is more of a defensive move in my estimation. Defensive in what way? Well, this guy on c3 is a very dangerous piece, patrolling this third rank. It's ready to swing over and attack the black king. So by taking on a3 with the rook, Black's trying to, we can say, exchange an aggressive piece. Now, there's no guarantee that these rooks would be exchanged. There is a move like bishop b3 in this position, but this guy is not as effective on this diagonal compared to this one. So there is still something gained by taking on this a3 square with the rook. As played in this one, it is bishop takes a3, throwing a punch. Rook b1 gets out of the threat. And from here we have c5. So I would say at this stage, this is where Black is starting to go a bit astray. What is considered best is to take some time out to secure the kingside before putting pressure on the center. What's considered one of the better moves here is g6. This is trying to tame the light square bishop. Okay, the approach here by Black is to put immediate pressure, try and break down the pawns that are on dark squares. D takes c5 follows. d4 is in there. This does open up a square for two black pieces. It opens up a diagonal as well. It also opens up a big square for this knight on d2. So for as long as this pawn is on d5, the knight doesn't have that e4 square. Now it does have that e4 square. The threat on the rook isn't really an inconvenience. The rook probably wanted to go somewhere else anyhow. Goes to a great square on g3. From here we have bishop takes c5. This is the only blunder of the game. And from this point on, white is winning. What is considered best, very computer-like move, best in this position is d3. I'm not going to highlight the lines from here. It's saying in some cases after bishop takes on c5, when white goes in for a sacrifice, there's some counter sacrifices on f2. Okay, tough for a human to really calculate those specific lines, the sacrifice on f2 in particular. In this game, it is the immediate recapture on c5, and now with about 10 minutes of thought, white goes in for this crushing combination, and it kicks off with bishop takes h7. King takes bishop, queen h5, only one move. Queen h6, don't have much choice, threatening a mate in one. g6, and now here we go. That big square that was given up earlier, the e4 square, knight e4. Black is on his back foot. What do you do here? You have to stop knight f6. There's just no good defense, though. After bishop e7, white focuses on f6, pulls the rook off of the g file. He wants this knight right here. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and then mate on g7. Black in this position thought for about 35 minutes. There is no way out of this one. What is tried is bishop to f5. The queen and the rook are x-raying this point. White could sacrifice another piece in this position. rook takes, bishop follows. What do? If you take the rook in this position, the knight gets to jump in, bishop takes, pawn takes, and black must give up the queen to stop mate on g7. So there is just no good follow-up here. What is tried is rook a6, stopping the knight from jumping in there. But white at this point just drops the rook back, and that right here is the final move of this game. White is no longer down material. He's actually up a pawn in this one, in this position, a very big pawn. And right around the corner, there's rook h3, queen h7, or queen h8 for mate. There is no good way out of this. I had a brief look at what's going to happen if, let's say, f6 is played, or excuse me, f5. This point is secure. You could take en passant. And if this happens, that's going to be there. So you'd have to take with the rook. Pick your favorite way to win. You could take the rook. Knight to g5 is also considered the absolute best, looking for mate on h7. At the end of the day, there is simply no good defense in this position for Team Black. So a very nice game, a very quick game, a 28 mover. Last 10 moves of this one were where Ediz Gurel was basically on his own. So very nice sequence of moves there, seeing those follow-up moves after bishop takes h7, the knight e4, a couple quiet moves in there, knight e4 and rook to f3 that had to all be calculated. So very nice play by this young, talented player. Anyhow, feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.